Looking over here to your right hand side is an okapi. Now when you look at the okapi, what animal do you think it's related to?
A zebra!
It's a giraffe. Yeah, the striped legs throw you off, I know a little bit, but it actually has the same head bone structure of a giraffe. It also shares a similar tongue. In fact, the tongue for the okapi is so long, if it ever so wished to, it can reach up and lick its own eyeballs. Oh yes. On over there to your left hand side, if you can see it, it's a black rhino. Over next to those fallen logs. Now, the black rhino weighs about 3,000 pounds, and it can charge up to a speed of around 30 miles per hour. Now, the black rhino is typically found by itself. In fact, the only time you might see two black rhinos next to each other is at nighttime near a watering hole or a mother with its young one. For the black rhino mother won't leave the young ones until she believes is both old enough and mature enough to take care of themselves in the wild. Aside from those two times, black rhinos are typically found by themselves. And for all the animals that live here and all the shrubbery you see around you, they use this on a regular daily basis. For some animals hide it so often just out of pure nature that they've been given certain little nicknames. And the others will use it during the daytime to hide up in the hot sun beating down on top of them. And then the majority of them will actually be using it to hide from the predators come the night time. Looking up here to your top left and a few spread off down here below, these are bongo you're seeing. Now bongos are nicknamed ghosts of the forest. They are given this name because they are so rarely seen. They're usually off hiding in the more dense parts area of the forest. If you go further back down the hillside, you're seeing a lighter looking animal. That's a greater kudu. For a greater kudu, you'll find that myth. Where we are now leaving the Little Forest, and the next stop on our journey is going to be the Safariride Wetlands. As we do journey towards the Safariride Wetlands, you'll find our majority of animals will spend the majority of the time in the water or on the shoreline. Every once in a while you might see these animals mix it up. It just always depends what you're able to see and find. Now looking out here to your right hand side, you're seeing a Nile hippopotamus. Now, there's only two reasons why you'd see a Nile hippopotamus on the shoreline. One of which is maybe it got hungry, went searching for something to eat, or two, it got too cold. And it will come on the shoreline to warm up a little bit. The rest of the time they will be spending it in the water, and when you see a group of them gathered together in the water, that is actually what is called a bloop. Off here to your left hand side, some in the water, some on that little island, are pink-backed pelicans. The pink-backed pelicans will have a nest group size that can range between 20 to 500 of them at a time. A group of pink-backed pelicans is actually called a pod. And that pink feather is found along the back sides of them, which actually show a lot more prominently when it gets closer to their mating season. And when it has reached their mating season, when it comes to hatching of their eggs, you'll find that both males and females will help out each other because it will roughly take them about 30 days to hatch that egg. Off here to your left hand side are some Nile crocodiles. Now the Nile crocodiles can grow to as long as 15 feet. They can weigh as much as 500 pounds. Sit down for me please. And they can live now if you ever get the Nile crocodile mouth open, that does not mean to say hello to you or they're hungry or anything, but it's actually how they regulate their body temperatures. It's a quick and easy way for them to circulate through to what will be most comfortable and desirable for them at the time. We are now actually leaving the Safariride Wetlands, and the next stop on our journey is going to be the Savannah. And as we do journey towards the Savannah, there's actually a tree I would like to point out for you really quickly. It's going to be coming up here on your right hand side, and it's known as a baobab tree. Now this baobab tree, when looking at it, it's leafless 9 months out of the year, and I know it looks like its roots are sticking out, but those are its branches. It can actually live to be thousands of years old. And not only that, within the baobab tree, you'll find that it can store thousands of gallons of water. And that much water inside the baobab tree not only helps it live for such a long time, but it can help the animals too. Whenever it's like a really harsh summer and the animals can't find a good fresh water source nearby, they'll use that water side of the Bellevue tree as a little stepping stone to help them get by until they were to find a natural spring somewhere else in the savannah. Now I'm seeing quite a few different animals at the top of the hill here. So once we get down and closer, I'll be able to tell you. The ones right now off here to your left hand side, standing near a tree that are sort of tan looking, these are actually our Patterson inlands. And the Patterson inlands are actually the biggest of the antelope family. You'll find that one can stand to be about 6 feet tall. And the Patterson inlands, you'll see on both the males and females that they have this horn on top of their head that is spiral, and it's a long horn. It goes directly backwards outside their head. But there's a reason. Since they are the biggest of the antelope family, if a predator were to jump up on the back sides of them, they're actually capable of rearing their head directly backwards so they can get that predator off from the back sides of them. The grayer animals up here to your top right, these are white-bearded wildebeest. Now the white-bearded wildebeest are always traveling in large groups. In fact, you see about 1.5 million white-bearded wildebeest make a journey of 500 to 1,000 miles every single year in the savannah. It's their migration season. The horn you see on top of their head is found in both males and females, and the horn itself can grow to about 2 feet in length. And the top speed for the white-bearded wildebeest you'll find is between that of 40 to 45 miles per hour. I think I saw something moving up here to your top left-hand side. Yeah, let's look over near the cave. You're going to see some wild African dogs. Now, the wild African dogs are actually the most successful hunting pack of the wild. Wild African dogs actually will run their prey down to the collapse of dehydration. Now, please, I've heard a few of you do this. Please don't whistle or kiss or make any noises towards the animals. They're not used to human noises, and we don't want to scare any of them. They're also sometimes called painted dogs because of the very unique coat pattern to them. And if you ever get a chance to hear their vocal cords, it's like a little rubber ducky noise. Now up here to your left hand side, you're seeing some sable antelope. Sable antelope have a very short lifespan of 17 to 18 years old. But the ones that you see that have a darker coat among them are the more mature ones out of all. In fact, for the sable antelope, those horns on top of their heads can grow to be as long as 3 to 4 feet in length. This off to your left hand side is a termite mound. And termite mounds you'll find throughout the whole land of Savannah. In fact, you'll see some as short as 3 feet to some that'll be even tall as nearly 30 feet high up in the air. And they are made up mostly of 3 items, that being saliva, dirt, and animal dung. And sometimes they will get as hard as cement to where the animals from time to time will use them as a scratching post. Now off to your left hand side, if you can see, there is 2 animals over there. One very noticeable is a monster giraffe. And then the second one with the much longer horns on top of it is the Angolic cattle. And as you can clearly see, that monster giraffe is now standing in the middle of the road. Let's just hope it doesn't sit down, because if that monster giraffe were to lay down where it is right now, it could fall asleep, and it sleeps for a solid 30 minutes throughout the whole daytime. 5,500 pounds. And even with their height and weight, they can still run between that of 20 to nearly 30 miles per hour. And even though they're extremely tall, there's always going to be trees taller than them. Oh, quick pause on that, because the animal crossing the front of us right now is an Angolic cattle. And the horns on top of an Angolic cattle's head can grow to be as long as 5 to nearly 6 feet in length. But the horns themselves, they may look extremely heavy, but they're actually a very light horn. For the ankle cow, the horns are made of a honeycomb structure. It not only keeps the horns light for them, but also acts as their cooling system. A way for them to, when their body temperature reaches an all-time high during summer, they can circulate their blood through their horns, which in doing so, their blood goes up hot and then comes down cold, thus being able to drop their body temperature down to what's most... When you see a group of them gathered together, that is actually what is to be called a tower. And you'll never find two with the exact same spot pattern. Each individual monster giraffe has their own very unique, distinct pattern. If you see the tongue on one of those monster giraffes, that tongue is actually about 1.5 feet long, and it can reach up, grab what they want, and bring it straight back into their mouths. And for the monster giraffes, they also have the exact same amount of vertebrae as that of an average human, which is 5. Within the first hour of their own birth, you'll find them up and already running about in the savannah. But actually, for all the animals that live here in the savannah, they're always in a constant communication with one another, so they can regrow and so they might have food for the upcoming summer or winter times. Off to your left, there are some mandrills. Mandrills are the biggest monkey of the wild, where you find that one mandrill can weigh to be as much as 100 pounds. If you ever want to tell which one is the alpha of the group, just look for the one that has the most prominent blue on its front nose. That one is the alpha. Look off here to your right hand side, there's an African elephant further down there. Now, there's actually a short little road I would like to take you all on. That road is a bit bumpier. Let's just ride up here and... Oh, it's been closed. Why is that? Oh, because my road is no longer there. But you know, since my road is closed, let's see where they'll be redirecting us then today. And they're taking us... Oh, it's over an old bridge. You know, to be on the safe side, I think I'll go pulley over this bridge, and hopefully I will be seeing you on the other side. Oh, you know what? I think I see duct tape on that bridge together. And now we're actually passing through some red clay. Now, if you ever see elephant tusk marks within the red clay itself, like this going up on your right hand side, it actually means that some of the African elephants have been eating it recently. Look up here to your left hand side, a few more. Now, the reason you would see them eating that red clay is because within it you find there's a lot of vitamins and nutrients that are very beneficial for the African elephants. Through the whole daytime, you'll see them eat a variety of things between that grass, roots, small trees, tree branches, fruits, and vegetables. Because in one day's time, you'll see them eat about 300 pounds of this in one day. And also, coincidentally enough, that is also exactly how much one of them would weigh when they are first born. Though when they then grow up and get into their adult ages, you'll see them weighing between 11,000 to nearly 13,800 pounds. And you'll find that through the whole day, the African elephants are a very sociable animal. They're always mingling about with one another, they're getting to know each other, and there's a purpose for that. Come the nighter times, when the African elephants start to head back home to where home is, to look after their young ones and each other. If for the young ones, the mother and father aren't around, since they have gotten to know their cousins and nephews, they can seek them out for shelter and protection too from any predators that they might be finding around the nighttime lands. If you ever see them flap their ears, that's them being able to drop their body temperature down by about 15 degrees every time they flap it. Now come up here on your left hand side are some greater flamingos. Now greater flamingos, when they start off in life, they start off as a gray feather bird. It takes them a couple months of eating their main diet brine to show those gray feathers pink. Now you see how a few of them are doing like this thing with their head? That's actually them trying to show off for the ladies. They can live to be about 44 years old. Whenever you see a group of them gathered together like this, it is actually what is called a flamboyance. We are now going to be making our leave of the Savannah, and the next stop on our journey is going to be the Mudlands. Now here in the Mudlands, for the animals that live here, they have to get a little clever, because here in the Mudlands, not only do you find nighttime predators, but there are also those daytime predators as well. In fact, one way that's helped the animals survive as long as they have is they use a tree line. In fact, the animals have found that if they go through this tree line single file until they find the most densest part area of it, they can sit down and sleep the entire night away there. And when they do this, they know they're safe, because it would be next to impossible for a predator to like sneak up on them without alerting them to some way or fashion that they are nearby in that area. Now looking over here to your left hand side, you're seeing a cheetah. There's also another one up here to your left hand side. Now both these cheetahs can go from a speed of 0 to 60 miles per hour in just under 3 seconds. Now for the cheetah, they can only maintain the speed for a few hundred yards. They use it to the max of their capability. In fact, for the cheetah, they also have incredible eyesight. Oh, and I see something lying about. Let's look up to your left near the Kobe Rocks. It's a lion. Now lions sleep a lot during the daytime. They'll sleep between an average of 16 to 20 hours of the day away, where nighttime is primarily when you'd see the lions up and like start to roam about the land to see what would their next meal be. The Swahili word for lion is actually Simba. When you see a group of them gathered together, that's what you would call a pride. Up here to your right hand side, you're seeing a white rhino and some water bucks. The water bucks you'll never find far from the source of water. And the white rhino can charge up to a speed around 35 miles per hour. Now lions also have very powerful jaws. In fact, for the lions, their jaws are so powerful they could break bones straight in half. And for the lion, if you ever were to hear their roar, that roar of the lion can actually be heard up to about a 5-mile radius. And they weigh about 550 pounds. Oh, if you look over here, there's a warthog. Actually, some few little young ones too. Now, warthogs are considered to be the biggest burrowing creatures of the wild. And for the warthogs, they use their frontal snouts and tusks to dig holes in the ground to where they live. And they're also the closest relative to that of the domestic pig. Now over here to your left again, you're seeing not only the water bucks, the white rhino, but you're also going to be seeing some buntabucks. Buntabucks, when their coat were to shine directly into the sunlight, it would change from that brown to a sheer looking purple. That white rhino does weigh between 4,000 and 5,000 pounds. And that white ring you see around the buntabug's backside, the natives tell us they get that from sitting in the water so often. In fact, that's where the name came from, because the bucks were always found in the water bucks. And those ostrich eggs only weigh about 3 pounds, but they can take the average weight of one man standing on top of one of them and not shatter. To break the outer shell of that ostrich egg, you have to use a hammer and a chisel to break it open. And we're actually now going to be leaving the Mudlands and heading into the Magadi Glen. Here in the Magadi Glen, you really don't find a whole lot of predators. Oftentimes you'll find some animals that act a bit more as a cannibal towards their own species. And up here on your right hand side, sitting down over here, there's some yellow-billed storks. The yellow-billed stork's main source of diet is actually to be little birds. Their wingspan is about 5 feet in length. There's only usually a small flock of them. On occasion, they will also be eating some frogs, smaller snakes, and smaller fish as well. I hope you enjoyed seeing all the animals out here today, and I know I hope you can take such as like recycling. Because when you recycle, you hope to keep the lands free and clear of any debris that's harmful to the animals. Also, by helping towards the funds for the animals, like the Disney Conservation Fund, who is always looking to try and keep not just some, but all of the animals off the extinction list. For any and every small effort towards helping the animals is very greatly appreciated. Not merely by myself and everyone here, but most importantly, it's by the animals themselves that appreciate it. Oh, and the nails are playing, which means it's the end of our journey. But did everyone have a good time? Yeah.